am Carla Palmer. I am your host for today. Carla Palmer, The Carla Palmer Show, is a spinoff of my movement, my GYSB movement. For those of you who are not familiar with the GYSB movement, GYSB stands for Get Your Sexy Back. It is a balanced approach to living your absolute best life, focusing on your mind, your body, and your spirit. You guys, I believe in an overall approach to wellness. So that's looking at different areas of your life that you need to work on in order to get to that next level, and focusing in on that and working until you reach that next level of optimal living. So the Carla Palmer Show is just a spinoff off of that movement. So we have essentially the same goal, which is to help you level up in wellness. Today we have a special guest. Hi, Regina.
Hello, Carla. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining. You guys, our special guest today is Regina Christine Creighton. And if you will allow me a couple seconds, I want to read her bio so that you guys get a better sense of who we're going to be speaking with today. Regina Christine Creighton, Gina, to her most recent friends and fans, is a Southern California native, nationally recognized speaker, published author, radio personality, and host of Get It Done with Gina Radio on the After Party Rest Radio. She is also America's #1 booked social media correspondent. Regina, again, welcome to the Carla Palmer Show. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm always on the flip side of the coin.
I know, you are.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a guest. I'm nervous. Oh my gosh.
You're always on the flip side. You're always on the flip side. But again, I'm so glad that you are, because I think you have so much to offer. Regina and I met about, has it been 3 years or 2 years?
It's 3. It's almost 4 years.
It's almost 4, you guys. So people don't know, a lot of times when you see people broadcasting live on Facebook or broadcasting live on Instagram, it's because we've been broadcasting live on other platforms too. So Regina and I, we met on Periscope. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's a live streaming app, which I think is one of the beginning ones. And a lot of these other platforms kind of spun off of that because they wanted to get in on the live streaming. So that's how we met about 4 years ago. And we've been friends ever since. And I've really supported her, and she's really supported me. Regina, now tell us a little bit about being a social media correspondent. What is that?
Being a social media correspondent, it is like a newscaster on social media. Who don't know me, don't know my background, I always wanted to be a newscaster. My mom made me watch the news, and I really hated it. I mean, like, hated it. While everyone else was outside having a good time playing, on the block, I had to come in at 5 o'clock, like now, news time. I had to come in at 5 o'clock, and I had to watch the news, and whatever happened on the news, whatever they reported about, I always had to write about it. And I'm like, why do I have to do this and everybody else is outside? So in actuality, something that I hated doing, it turned into a love for me. I wanted to be a newscaster, went to college, never graduated, got all the units in LA, never graduated. But when social media came about, I was able to create my own lane. And so as a social media correspondent at live events, I am there reporting what's happening. I'm there interviewing the people in the room, the producers, the speakers, the sponsors, and then I'm connecting with the online audience, because you don't want to leave those people out. Maybe they didn't know about your event, maybe they were out of town, whatever, their schedule didn't work, but they still want to connect with you. So you don't want to leave money on the table. So I'm there inviting everyone in to what's going on. And so as a social media correspondent, I've created my own lane. I do that locally, nationally, and internationally. And so I still get to do what I love, but on my own schedule and my own, my own thing.
Yeah. It's interesting. A lot of people have these live events now, and they don't want to leave the money on the table. And so you'll see that they'll have the option to attend the event live. And so that's where you would come in to kind of help moderate and facilitate some of that, so that there's a seamless kind of, thing going on there with both the live event and the event that is there being live streamed. So that's great. I love it when people, create avenues for themselves that make sense. Like for you, that made a lot of sense. And you know what else is interesting? How you were saying that your mom had you doing something or your mom and dad had you doing something that you didn't like, which was coming in, watching the news and having to do a report on that. and it has really blessed you as an adult because you did what they said, and now you can utilize that to your advantage. And I remember Jay-Z saying something like, I think when he was younger, one of his punishments was reading the dictionary and learning new words. And now he's like, one of the best rappers out there, and he's very intelligent, and he really is able to hone his craft with his level of knowledge that he built from reading the dictionary. So a lot of times, those things that we hate as young people, they really do serve us. They really do serve us well.
They seem like, daunting task at the time, but I mean, you're doing it so much, it becomes kind of like a ritual. Like, and after a moment, I was like, okay, it's 5 o'clock. I got to go inside. Like you said, it's amazing that it turned into a love and created, an avenue for me, and not just for myself, but for others. Because when people are having live events, they're so in tune to getting that event together, and it's a lot of work. There are little things that you don't think about. If you've ever put on a live event, if any of your viewers have ever put on a live event, they're worried about getting people there.
Yeah.
People there in the room, but they're not thinking about the online audience and the world that we live in today. Everything, Carla, is visual.
Everything
visual.
Yeah.
So, somebody that didn't make it and they're watching online and they're getting the play-by-play and they're getting introduced to, who's there and what's it all about and their calls and all that. They're saying, oh my gosh, I've got to get to the next one, or I've got to connect with this person, or, how can I get my product in front of them? How can I support them? So it's absolutely really, really vital at these live events to connect with the online audience. And I just really love that I've been able to do this and help people at the same time. It's always, it's a win-win for the producers of the event and for the people watching.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really admire about you is that you're all over the place. Like, I'll look up, you'll be in another state, and and then the next couple of days you're in another state, and then you're back home. You're also a mom. I think you've been international. You put on events. You're always doing something, and I think I really admire that, because in order to get all of those things done, Gina, you have to have really great time management skills. And so that's why I wanted to bring you on today, because I feel like you have so much to share with our audience about time management, about how you strategize to really make the most of your day or your week, your month, your year. So let's talk about that. I mean, I found some of the 10 common time management mistakes that people make. One was failing to prioritize.
Yes.
So can we just talk a little bit about that? Like, let's just go down this thing and talk about these. Failing to prioritize.
Sure, absolutely. Well, how this all came about to get it done with Gina, because this is nothing new that I've been doing it. I've been doing it for a few years now. Back when we were on Periscope, even though on Periscope, I was there known for my home-based business, Gina's Cuisine Cupcakes, but I was doing something to get myself together. And so I introduced that to my audience, which was the Get It Done with Gina. And the reason that came about is because at the time, when Periscope first started, I was out on medical from my traditional 9 to 5. And once I, found myself getting a little bit better where I could move about, my day and, had things to do, I wasn't getting them done.
Okay.
When I wake up in the morning, okay, I need to do this. Some of the things were inside the house, some of the things were outside the house. And then it'll be 8 o'clock and I'm like, damn.
What happened?
What did I do today? I had all these things in my head that I needed to get done, but I wasn't getting them done. And what was it? It was no prioritization. It was procrastination. It was failing to make a plan. So I really got, like everybody says, sick and tired of saying I needed to do this, but didn't get it done. And so I had to make a plan for myself. I'm a person that loves journals. Oh my gosh.
Me too.
This is just one of my journals. And you see I like them nice, pretty, shiny, and all that stuff. So I've always loved journals because my mother always had me writing. And so I said, you know what? How can I really start to, I have all this time that God has given me. I don't have to go to work right now. What can I do to get myself together? And I'm like, Gina, you always writing in these journals. Write the stuff down in a timely manner and stick to it. You know, I'm a person, I want to do everything right then. And I had to think, you know what? You cannot do everything, but you can do them in chunks.
Yes.
Everything that you have to do, if you take them in chunks of time, then you can focus on it, you can get it done, and you can move on to the next. So
Yeah.
that's how, yeah, Daryl says, seemed like time was flying out the window. Absolutely. Time was there, and it was absolutely, it was going out the window, and it was like, poof, be gone, but nothing was done. So,
Yeah.
me, journaling was something that really, really helped me to get the things done. But I had a system
Mm-hmm.
way that I did it.
Do you want to share some of your system?
Absolutely, absolutely. What I would do is every night before I went to bed, I would say, okay, what do I need to do? Okay,
Oh,
tomorrow.
I remember this. I remember
Remember?
this.
Remember?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and people were so receptive to it. And I used to get so many, DMs and so many emails saying, oh my gosh, Gina, I never thought about that. It helped me. So what I would do, Yvette, that Yvette says makes good sense, write it down. I would take only 5 things. Now, mind you, I had a gazillion things
Right.
I needed to do, from small to large, but I would write only 5 things down literally before I went to bed. Not early in the day, but literally, okay, I'm getting ready to go to bed in 15 minutes. Okay, as soon as I got in bed, I kept that journal by my bedside, kept a pin there, and I'm only putting 5 things in there. They were not listed in any particular order. It was just 5 things that I needed to do on Tuesday. Come Tuesday morning, when I wake up, I'm waking up with intention. I already know the things that I've set out to
Mhm.
do, and I'm only going to stick to those things. Like Les Brown says, this is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
That was my list, and I was completely sticking to that list. Even if I accomplished all 5 things on there, I wasn't moving on to the next because
Yeah.
I didn't want to overwhelm myself.
Hmm.
It's like when the new year comes and everybody says, and you know this because you're heavily into fitness, everybody says, you know what, I'm going to the gym 7 days
It's
a week.
my year, right?
Year, I'm gonna, get this weight off, and I'm gonna eat this, and I'm gonna eat that, and then they overwhelm themselves
Yeah.
because it's all in their head, but they're not really making a plan. Okay, I'm gonna go to the gym on Tuesdays for
Yes.
30 minutes, then I'll be back on Thursday for 30 minutes. They make a plan, but they have all these intentions in
Hmm.
their head, but they couldn't stick to it because they didn't make a solid plan. And so I just had to make a solid plan to help me move from one stage to the next. And when I saw that it was working for me, I was like, hey, this is pretty good. Let me introduce this to my audience
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
know that I'm not the only procrastinator. I know that I'm not the only one that time, like Daryl said, is just going out the window. So I introduced that to my, friends and audience on Periscope, and it was just great. And it just stuck with me, and it really, 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 really works.
So when you say, you do it right before you go to bed, right? Why
I
is it
mean, like
that?
literally.
Why is that the time?
Because it's like if you watch, I don't know if you watch horror movies. If you watch horror movies and you watch that movie before you go to sleep, or if you watch TV, whatever, you go to sleep, subconsciously it's in your mind, right?
Yeah.
You may have a dream about anything. It may not necessarily be about that movie, but it may be about, something that happened in the movie, something scary or whatever. That last thing that you feed in your brain subconsciously sleep, it's there while you sleep. And it's
Yeah.
there when you wake up. So I
Yeah.
wanted to feed my brain what I needed to do before I went to bed. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't care if I woke up at 8, I don't care if I woke up at 10, I don't care if I woke up at 5. Whenever I woke up, I knew what had to be done. And that had to be done throughout that 8-hour, 12-hour day, period, point blank, before I get into something else. I had to commit myself to those 5 things because I didn't want to be stagnant anymore. I didn't want to waste, precious time that God had given me because, you never know when you're going to be here, right? And
Yeah.
when it's your time's up. I wanted to make sure that every day that he gave me breath to breathe, that I wanted to respect his time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's how I would get it done.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the subconscious mind because I think it's so powerful, and I don't think people realize just how powerful it is.
Mhm.
Like even listening to affirmations, as you're headed to bed, like those things are so powerful, and they get embedded in your psyche, and you start to really look at life and do things a little bit differently. So I think it's great. You're doing that brain dump and you're also like going to bed with your mind. Your mind is clear because you've dumped it out on the paper.
Right.
But you still know that those things are going to be the things that you get up and you wake up with intention and you do the next day. So I think that's great. One of the other things that was here with one of the most common mistakes that people make when it comes to time management is undervaluing the time it will take to finish something.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have it's the same as like getting ready to go out, and
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I don't have to be there till 7, and then you like, oh, I can get ready at 6:15.
I know. I used to be the same exact way, Carla. I used to be the same way. Like my husband used to say, but I really could on this. He'd say, Regina, you always think you can get everywhere in 15 minutes. I'm like, well, I can. Well,
Yeah,
I kind of used to could, but LA traffic's different now, so I can't. But even if I can get there in 15 minutes, I should not. Because
no,
you know what's ahead. I don't know who else is running late, right? I don't know
right,
who else is running on the road. So I kind of like threw that one out the window and left it out the window. If you have time, use the time. Don't wait until the last minute. You as a driver, we're just using driving right now for the example, but as a driver, you don't know who else is late. You don't else knows, what's going on the road ahead of you. You could take that same route every day. But
hmm
today there's an accident.
hmm
Today the light is out. You have no idea. So, never wait to the last minute to do anything. If you get there early, honey, baby, you are on time if you
yeah,
get there early. And
yeah,
it's okay to be early because you don't want to run in, frustrated, bothered like, oh, did I miss something? You don't want to run in and pack. You want to keep your life as calm as possible. So being on time is okay.
yeah.
I also think 15 minutes is everything, but it's not. Arriving less stress is better, is what Shaitan is saying. Absolutely.
A lot of times, we have to print things out, right? So we have to print things out for an event. And you're like, oh, I can go ahead and print this out tomorrow. Now, you don't print things out. If it's a big print job, you don't print it out the day of the event.
Right.
That's
Right.
poor time management because
Right.
I can almost guarantee you that printer is going to stop working right when you get ready to print that big job for your big event that you need to have handouts for. And that's the thing, with time management, if you're not managing your time effectively, it brings on a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
And stress becomes a snowball effect.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're stressed out, you tend to stress eat. And when you don't feed your body good things, then your body reacts in a way that is not healthy as well. And so time management is very key
Mm-hmm.
in functioning in optimal space, right? When you talk about optimal wellness, which is what the show is about, time management is pretty important when you start to
It,
think about that.
it is. You know,
Yeah.
it's just being here on your show today. Let me tell you something. God is
Mm-hmm.
very intentional about everything that he does, as we should be. Today,
Right.
we're on this show talking about time management, how to get things together, and all of that. Not just about a week ago, I was a speaker at a youth clinic, actually at my old middle school. It's called junior high when I was
Mm-hmm.
there, but I was a speaker last week. And the topics that we spoke to the kids about was time management, goal setting, and financial literacy. Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not the one to talk about financial literacy. Not my lane, right? Not my lane, right? But goal setting, time management was something that I spoke to the kids about. And here I am a week later on that same subject. So
Yeah.
God intentionally placed, the get it done. This is one of my custom journals. He's
Oh,
in
nice.
place to get it done in me 4 years ago to continually share with others, adults, youth, what have you, because we all can get off track. And
Yeah.
we need to hear that one right thing to bring us back in focus. Focus is something that you have your glasses on. I have my here on the table, right? When you lose focus, you get off track. Whatever you can do to keep yourself focused on where you should be, you're going to get to the next step. You're going to get to the next level. So, time is essential that you use it in whatever capacity you have, you use it correctly. Like I said, don't wait to the last minute. I was asking the kids last week, the middle schoolers, I said, you guys have tests. When are your tests? And Wednesdays and Fridays. When are you guys studying? Oh, Tuesday night. I'm like, no,
No.
we don't study Tuesday night, right? I said, what you guys can start doing, because I said you're cramming at the last minute. You stand up, late past your bedtime. You're trying to give your brain all this information when you had the weekend to take section by section and study a little bit at a time. I said, what I don't want you guys to do is you study in a whole hour when you could have been studying 20 minutes at a time. 20 minutes, you that subject, you move on. 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes here and there. I said, because these are the things that we're teaching you now that are going to carry you on in life. You guys have careers, you're going to have jobs, you're going to have projects to do wherever you are, whether it's your own business or you're working for someone else. And you cannot wait to the last minute to satisfy the client. You can't wait to the last minute to, get the articles together of whatever it is that you need to do. So just start taking things in little bit of chunks at a time. And so, it's just coming full circle that this is what I am supposed to be teaching. This is what I'm supposed to be, working on people with. So I just want to say that, being here on this subject with you is just confirmation.
And what else was confirmation is, how Facebook has the Facebook memories that pop up. So it was really interesting that last year on this very day, I put up a post that said, I need to work on my time management when it comes to my phone, because that is another part of time management, is really managing distractions and limiting them. And the way that you limit the distractions is by being intentional and saying, okay, how long, they have that app that'll tell you like how long you've been on the phone, how much phone screen time you've had. Those things are such eye openers. Because once you realize how much time you spend on your phone, you realize that you never should say, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. Oh my gosh, I don't have time to do that. Oh my gosh, I don't have time to work out. It's not true. It's simply not true.
Right.
And there's this thing, are you busy, or are you really being effective and really getting things done? Because there's a difference there too, right? We always overuse this, oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I'm so busy. Are you really that busy, or are you not doing things properly to manage your time in a way that is smart, right? Are you being intentional? Are you scheduling? Are you taking those breaks and getting up and walking and getting your blood flowing and, to your brain, and making sure that you're able to sit down and be refreshed? There are all of these things that are involved in being good with time management. And I just, I think it's interesting that was the thing that popped up today. And I'm like, she was supposed to be here on the Carla Palmer Show. And I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
A lot of times people have a time management mistake by being a perfectionist. So, just kind of working on something way too long and caring too much about the wrong things. I have that problem sometimes.
I think it's better to get it done than to be a perfectionist. A lot of times, here's my new book, right? This is my new book called Get It Done, Godly Empowered Talent Inspiring Thousands. This book did not take me very long to write, but the editing took a long time, right? The editing took a long time. I had to go through it myself. My daughter's my editor. She's in school. So because of her schedule, it took a little bit longer, right? But I'm like, okay, you know what? We've got to get this project done. This book is ready. All the content is there. The editing has to be done. Because her schedule is so tight, I said, you know what? You're always my editor, but you're not the only person that can edit. Let me just take this from you. She's like, no, mommy, I got it. I'm like, Anaje, I appreciate you, and I always use you, but I know that you're in school. She's in med school, right? I know you're in tool. So let me just take it from you and I'll give it to someone else to edit it. It's totally okay, right?
Yeah.
So I give it to the other person, we edit it. There's still a few, and we publish it, right? But there's still a few mistakes. When I get it from the printer, I'm like, oh, okay,
right.
well, this table of contents is this page. It should be over here. It's right. And then there's a couple other things in here that are highlighted that shouldn't be highlighted in the master copy. But you know, this book was released as is in January because it's done.
Okay.
There's a few things that are incorrect, but it's better to be done and published than to keep saying, well, it's on my desk and I gotta finish, I gotta get the table of contents on the right side, or I've got to get this other thing, you know, it's something in here highlighted that shouldn't be. It's okay. You can still read through the highlight. The table of contents being on the wrong side of the page is just a physical error, but it does not stop you from getting the information that's in this book. So people are always, you know, fine-tooth combing through things and all of that. You know what? We know that we want it right. Thank you, Darrell. We know that we want it right, but it's better to just get it done, put it out there. And if you've got to come back and make some corrections, you can do that. There's something called a revision. There's something called a do-over. Life is not a do-over. So whatever you've got to do it now. Stop waiting until you have the right amount of money. Stop waiting until you have that special person in your life. Stop waiting until your kids are out of your face, because are they ever really? Are they ever really?
They're not.
Our 20-year-olds that we have right now, you know, are they really ever out of your face? No. So, you know, stop waiting to get things done and just do them like right now, whatever it is. Don't wait for everything to be perfect, because we're human beings. Nothing is perfect and there's no perfect time.
So do you guys have any questions for Regina? If you do, please put them in the chat box now and I will put them on the screen and we can go ahead and start with the Q&A before we start wrapping up. We've got about 6 minutes, and the 10 common mistakes, I'll go through them again. Time management mistakes that people often make. Number 1, failing to prioritize. Number 2, we didn't talk about this, but starting your day late. You guys, the early bird gets the worm. I know that's old. Y'all, it is the absolute truth. And I can tell you, every time I get up to go and do my workouts at 5:30 in the morning and I come back, I get home about, 7 o'clock. It's people still sleep at 7 o'clock. It's nice and quiet. I can still have my coffee. I can do my journaling, whatever it is I'm going to do, work on another broadcast. I have so much time. And when you get enough rest and you're able to get up early and you get some things done in the morning that way, it does alleviate some of that stress that comes with getting up, you know, instead at 9:30 instead, or getting up at, 8:30. That's a whole hour and a half, or actually 5:30. That's 3 hours. That's 3 hours that I've already been up, when some people are getting up at 8:30. So, let's just make sure, you're trying to become an earlier riser. You don't have to get up at the crack of dawn, but try to get up a little bit earlier, but also make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Number 3, ineffectively scheduling tasks, procrastinating, failing to manage numerous distractions, such as your phone, undervaluing the time it will take to finish something. Multitasking. Y'all, I'm sorry, I am not good at multitasking. That to me is the biggest time waster. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. I suck at it. I really, really suck at it.
Like everybody cleans up Saturday morning, right? You grew up, parents have you cleaned up Saturday morning. This is what I would do. I would maybe start in the kitchen, and then something's in the kitchen that shouldn't be, so I'm bringing it to the room where it should be, right? Then I'd get stuck in that room. And then I'm over here for 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, but I was in the kitchen. And then here I am running back and forth. And before you know it, I was tired, zonked out, and I had not gotten anything done because I didn't stick to that one place. Value the time. Don't wait until the last minute. Are you really busy? Are you fooling yourself with saying you're productive? Get it done. Get yourself deadline. Stick to it. Just do it. I love that, Darrell. Thank you. But when you stick to that one task and master that and get it done, move on to the next one. That's reason why you're listing them down, because you cannot do everything at the time and get it done. So multitasking sounds good, but you don't have to do that. I think being multi-talented is better than multitasking.
Yeah, and then when you multitask and you take your mind and energy off of one thing and go to something else and then go back, like there's a certain amount of time it takes to refocus, and that's wasting time right there. Instead of just focusing in, getting this done, putting it to the side, and moving on to the next thing that you should be doing. The other thing, you know what? I think sometimes we open our emails too early in the morning, and we get caught up in that email rabbit hole. And it's like by the time you look up, you have done absolutely nothing but you're a slave to all of those emails that have come in. You're stressed out because you read them all at once. And now you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. So I would say that is another benefit of getting up early and getting some things done that you need to get done for yourself, whether it's your own personal stuff or some stuff from work. There are times when I get up in the morning and I do work at my house before I even get to the office, because I don't want to do that there. I want to just do it here, whatever I'm thinking about, and then getting it done. And then I can do the emails and stuff later. And by the time I get to the office, it's still early enough for me to have checked the email in the morning. Do you know what I mean? So
another good thing for the viewers to do, if you're not doing it already, I know on my emails I have a kickback. It's like a vacation mode. When an email comes through, whether it's something I subscribe to or whether it's a business email, accountability partner is everything, Darrell. It is everything. I have a kickback that tells people that I'll get back with you in 48 hours. So I know if emails are going to come through all day long. If I've asked somebody to email me, they said I'm going to email you, I'm not giving it a sense of urgency. Not that it's not important, but I know that I have a 48-hour window to check that email and get back with that person, because emails can get you caught up and get you out of time. Set aside a time and say, okay, I check emails from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And then you're not feeling obligated, all the time to be on your phone or to be on your laptop to check those emails and respond to people, because responding can take a while. I have 5 different email accounts that I manage and 2 for 2 other clients. So that's 7 different email accounts that I personally manage. And I have to set aside time to say, okay, I got 7 accounts I've got to check. This is the time that I'm doing them, this date, period. I don't care if somebody calls me or texts me and says, Gina, I sent you an email. Okay, did you get the kickback? Yes, it says 48 hours. Okay, that's what we're going to work with. We're going to work with 48 hours, period. I'm not going to let people, distract me and get me off track, because if you don't have a system to do things, you'll be all over the place and you'll get absolutely nothing done.
Yeah, I agree. I want to tell people where they can find you. I mean, this is your web address. You can say it, but it's on the screen.
Okay. People can connect with me. You can find out what I'm doing, what's going on with Regina at my website, www.reginachristincrayton, CRAYTON.com, my full government name. You can connect with me on my radio show, which is called Get It Done with Gina Radio. It comes on every Monday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the After Party Network, and that is spelled THA, After Party. On that show, Darrell, he hit the nose on the head. We talk about entrepreneurship, accountability, and faith on that show. Carla, I want to do this for your listeners and your followers. We have guests live in studio on the show, and we have virtual guests for those that are not in the Los Angeles area. People support that show by booking a conversation. For your listeners, anyone that wants to have a conversation on the show and, talk about whatever it is you're promoting, your book, your events, whatever it is, your store, your product, you can come on that show and they can get 15% off our fee. So your viewers, all they need to do is email me at Get It Done with Gina Radio. And in the title, they'll put CP Show for Carla Palmer Show. Those people are going to get 15% off. If they want to book a conversation, they will get 15% off. That is good now through, what's today? Today is April 21st.
Yeah.
Today is April 21st. Our show is every Monday. They can get on the calendar with 15% off. We'll let that be from April 21st until June. June 24th. Because I'm going to Paris in 2 weeks. So I'll miss 2 shows, right, in May. I'll miss May 6th, I think, and May 13th. I'll miss those shows. so it'll be a replay. But they can book anywhere between now and June 20th. I don't even know when June 20th is, but from now to June 20th, they'll put CP in the title of the email, and I'll give them 15% off their booking.
15% off.
15% off their booking a conversation on the show, whether it's a virtual conversation or whether they come in live in studio. They'll get 15% of their booking fee.
So is the after party
radio? The after party radio. And they can find me on Instagram at Get It Done with Gina Radio. They can find me on Facebook at Get It Done with Gina Radio. They can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Regina Christine Creighton.
Okay. And then there is the CP, you put CP in there, 15% off a booking, the after party radio, and then they can email you.
Yes.
So Get It Done with Gina Radio at gmail.com.
Yes.
And that's good from April 21st through June 20th, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're going to close out the show. Regina, I really appreciate you being here with me. I love your energy. You're such a wonderful person. You know, you operate with integrity. And I think that is, you know, one of the key ingredients in being a good entrepreneur and somebody who people love to work with, is we can always count on you to show up, and we can always count on you to operate with integrity. So I appreciate that about you.
Congratulations on your show, your amazing guests, your amazing sponsors. You guys sponsor this show. Yes. Shows do not run just on air, guys. So sponsor Carla, email her, find out how you can help her out with the show, send guests to her show, sponsor the show, help her out. And, you know, we're just sisters doing what we do. And I appreciate you and your platform and everything. So thank you so much. And thank you for all the people watching today.
I appreciate you saying that about the sponsorship too. I think sometimes I just forget to say, you know, you can be a sponsor. Last week it was sponsored by a jewelry line, and she got some sales from that. People, my audience is very engaged. We've raised money, you know, for charity before, you know, $1,500 on one of our shows. Yeah. So if you're interested in, you know, being a sponsor for the show, please let me know. I'll send you the sponsorship package. I'm happy to send that over to you. But yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that. I always forget. But yeah, it's a great way to get your brand out there and your products. You know,
it's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for the sponsors. You know, you have an amazing platform. You know, they need to let people know about what it is they do, what they offer. You have that platform for them. So, you know, you win, they win, people get to find out about them, and it increases everybody's presence, power, and profit is what I do as America's #1 book social media correspondent. So absolutely.
All right. Take care, you guys.